And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thrashers Paradise. We are joined with a very good friend of Thrashers. We are joined with 30 Immolated and 16 Return front person, Dr. Death. Dr. Death, how are you doing today?
Hail! I'm doing well. It's been a good dismal day out there, so enjoying the depression of it all. And yourself?
I am doing very well, thank you for asking. Now, how have you been coping with this whole self-isolation inside due to this coronavirus?
I keep busy constantly. That's constant projects. That and I have a lot going on in my home. The wife and I, Madame Chanville, lead guitar player at 30 Immolated. Her and I do a lot of jamming. We are also involved in other metal projects, including my brother's Metaladians. We jam for that. Right now we are starting recording, and we have a lot of projects, and then we have a small child in our midst that we love to teach the dark ways of dark and heavy music constantly, and so he's always there, and we get to teach him all day, which is a lot of fun.
Awesome. Now, I'm sure it's pretty hard that you got used to sacrificing goats live in public in front of people, but now that we kind of can't do that, do you now have like a backlog of just a huge amount of goats in your place just waiting to be sacrificed to the Dark Lord?
I do, in fact. I put them in the shed, and there's a couple that just stay in the bathroom now, but they know their place. The whole family knows how to keep them corralled up properly for me.
Yeah. Now, have you started to
basement.
gain? Okay. Have you started to gain a emotional connection with these goats, or are you still willing to sacrifice them?
No, I gain emotional connection to nothing.
Very well. Now, I'm going to ask this. With this whole thing going on, do you feel personally that you would have done as much progress on working with new material as you would have if this wasn't to happen?
Yes, I believe so. Mainly because I think I've talked to a lot of people about this, a lot of other creators, and the more you have to do, the more you will do. In other words, when there's nothing forcing you to go anywhere on your plate, no like pressure, there's a tendency to stagnate. But when you have a lot of things on the go at once, it's like an energization of creative energy. I don't know, just something about busy makes me want to do more. So, but I've been very disciplined. Whips and chains, and Madame Chanville's been helping me out with that thing. We've been torturing each other every once in a while just for fun, because not as many victims come in anymore. But see each other to do a lot of creative work constantly, and so we're jamming together all the time. We're both writing works. Madame Chanville is writing a work for the death metal band, hopefully a big project, and so that'll be a cool, very different. She's also a doctor of music, only the most elite may write for our groups, and so we, doctors of music are only allowed. We're quite busy and constantly, and just projects all the time.
Now, you bring up torturing. What about the slave? I thought you had the slave to torture.
I don't want to catch that degenerate filth disease. All right? Don't belong here in our safe, clean home. We personally clean all the goats and sheep that come into our homes. So, they're safe and they're clean. But, you can't trust human filth. Too disgusting.
Fair enough. Now, when you agreed to do this Skype interview, you were under the impression that it was going to be a good... I don't know what I was trying to ask. But in other words, we here at Thrashers Paradise reached out to you, just wanted to see how you're doing and catch up. What was your initial reaction to this happening?
I think it came out of the blue. I didn't even think of doing anything like this. I don't know. I think I have an unfortunate tendency of when it's quiet, I want it to stay quiet. And so, but when you popped up, it was great. It's like, hey, I get to talk to somebody I don't see every day, which is always nice. We do the Skype or the FaceTime or the Zoom conversations with people, every weekend, trying to turn the weekend into an actual weekend, for sanity's sake.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Now, when it comes to writing for 30 Immolated and 16 Return, now that we can't leave houses technically. Has it become harder to get the band together, kind of, just to pick out a right time to talk and discuss what we want to write next?
Yeah, it is. It has been difficult. The good thing is Madame Chanville and myself live in the same abode, so that's easy for us to get together. Mr. Bones, my brother, he has been actually getting ready to record our next little mini project. I hinted at it last time I talked to you. It's a metal arrangement of a classical composer, a modern classical composer, Igor Stravinsky, Russian, really brutal music. The style of music is called primitivism, so you can imagine how it comes out in metal. And the piece is The Rite of Spring. So we're going to be recording 3 movements from it. So he's going to be starting to record on that. So what we're doing is we're kind of taking advantage of the fact that we can't really see each other, and we're starting to record. So he's going to record the drums, and then each of us have nice microphones and sound cards. So we're going to just start recording in our own homes and setting up our own areas to record our own homes. So it's going to be a good little recording project for all of us. So that's one way that we're kind of getting together, being collaborative, but at the same time being safe.
Excellent. Now, with all this happening, and now you have time to actually look back and think about what to improve on with the live shows, has there been any new creations you thought of adding to the 30 Immolated live show setting?
I have been slowly working on an electronics piece. It's something I did for my PhD thesis. It's called the sounding floor. And what it is a large platform covered in metal sheets, and hooked up underneath of it are what are called piezo microphones, or contact mics, and they pick up vibration, not sound waves, but vibration. And I feed that through, I create my own circuits, it's like distorting a circuit. You create feedback loops and stuff like that and send it through giant speakers. And that way, when a dancer gets on top of them, or a victim sits on top of it, every single different piece of pressure that they put on the metal sheeting changes the sound. And it's all just wild feedback. But they're able to change the sound of the feedback with their body.
That actually sounds really awesome.
If you go to my YouTube page, I think it's Dan Brophy. I think that's it. I have some video footage of the original premiere of my thesis, which was in Edmonton. So I had a dancer on that there. His name was Richard Liu, amazing guy. And also I did some work with a choreographer out there. Her name is Jerry Marita, and I have some footage of her using it too. Makes for pretty wild sounds. It's like it turns the dancer into the instrument.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And would the slave, I'm assuming, be using that a lot?
Exactly. Yeah, Zena T. She's actually a musician herself. Like I believe she plays bass and or guitar, and so she's a very musical person, very precise human being. So I wanted to just bring that back for her. So I have to rebuild it because I've been moving from Edmonton to here. I couldn't bring the instrument with me. It was way too big. It's so heavy. It's made the basis of it is a shipping skid.
Oh.
Because it has to carry a whole human body.
Fair enough.
The people I worked with in Edmonton would smash it really hard. Like they were abusive to it. So I had to make it super sturdy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really heavy and clunky, so it doesn't go very far unless it's like a major show.
True enough. Now, would this instrument, if built in time for the release of the next chapter in the 30 Immolated life, could that instrument be used in said album?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a part of it. It's so a lot of it's for the live. Like I'm really like a live person. I don't know. I just prefer it, especially for what 30 Immolated is. When I first started creating the project, I was really, really into improvisation. That's why a lot of the piece is improvised. We had to actually record the album live off the floor because of all the improvised parts to it. Because it's just stuff you can't recreate. You can't write it out. It's just too much like, do crazy feedback here or play this cell of like 6 or 7 notes in whatever order you want for 2 minutes. You know, and like things like that. There's a lot more directions than there is notation. So yeah, you have to capture that stuff live. So recording is one thing, but live is another, and especially that instrument I'm talking about. It's mostly going to be used for live, and I think as a transitionary piece from like one like the 30 Immolated album to like say the next generation of materials type stuff. But we'll find a way to put it into the album.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, last time we did talk and meet in person, it was, I want to say November. This November, October, I think, around the darker times in Canada. From that point to now, besides the coronavirus, what for you has been the biggest change?
Oh man, the coronavirus. But I guess you said I can't say that. I don't know, man. I think that's like the only thing that's changed my life and my business. So like my wife and I, we own a teaching studio called the Randuth Teaching Studio because Ruth and Dan Randuth.
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
Yes.
And so I was doing a lot of driving out to. I would mostly do students out in the Oakville and Burlington areas because they have more money and they can afford me. So I did a lot of driving for teaching and stuff like that. My wife would have to go out and drive for and go to people's homes for teaching. So now we've transitioned to doing everything online. It's nice not driving.
Yeah. Now, please forgive me if I get this wrong, but I believe it was you, Dr. Def, that had something about a masterclass?
Yes, I do that every week. If you play classical guitar, if you're interested in the technique, I do a master class on guitar, classical guitar techniques. And it's basically, you don't have to have too much knowledge, but you do have to basically know how to play the guitar. Like you have to be able to play a couple of chords, you'd have to be able to play a scale, and you'd have to be able to work the right hand finger picking. A little bit, because that's a lot of what we work on, and a lot of it is what for classical guitarists, it's like you go back to basics every time you do stuff, and you put the metronome on, you do it as slow and as forcefully as possible. It's like powerlifting for your fingers, and it gets the muscle memory into your fingers, so that when you do play live, it's just automatically there. It's like a basis of strength. And I do about like 35 minutes, and I do about 4 different major exercises, and I work it through people. I work it slow, and then I go a little bit faster for the more advanced players. And then people who are a little more beginners, I just tell them to keep doing the same exercise over while I'm moving faster with the more advanced players. So it's something for everybody. I have a professional jazz player who attends regularly, and I have one of my beginning students who attends regularly. So it's like it's a big gap of experience, and it's free.
Ah, awesome.
Yeah, I'm just doing it because I like people and I like teaching guitar, and it's nice to do it and it's good advertising for my studio. So if you like the way I teach and you want to learn more, then you can get one-on-one lessons with me.
Sweet. Now, how did that come about? Did Masterclass kind of reach you, or did you decide to set it up yourself? Like, I don't know how a Masterclass would work.
Okay, so Masterclass, to tell you all the origins of the Masterclass, as only a trained musical professor such as myself could say. It actually goes back to the late Romantic era, a guy named Franz Liszt. He's actually considered like the rock star god of classical piano, to the point where like he would throw his handkerchief into the audience and women would go crazy over it. But he loved teaching. He thought it was like the most important thing that you could do as a musician. And so he was the first one to invent a masterclass where it's you either go through a set of techniques with a whole group, like a whole class of guitar players, and you use each other as an example, or you have like one main person playing a piece and then you critique that person's playing and you talk about how they can improve it, or just different aspects of the music that could help everyone in the class with their technique. And so that's just an idea that's done in classical music. And if you take classical music in school, that's just what you do. For your entire education, like once a week, attend a master class for your instrument or for your chamber group. And so that's just what we do as classical guitar players. I just thought I'd do it for free online because, like I said, I like talking to people and I like teaching guitar.
Awesome, and thank you for explaining that to me. For someone that might not have had the full knowledge about what one would be.
Yeah, it's just it's a tradition of classical music, and I think it's really cool. It's a way to get people together and talking and like trying to advance musical knowledge.
Awesome. Now, with all this happening, and the first album was already released a while ago, now working on creating the new one, what for you and Madame Champsville is the I probably butchered her name.
You're really close. You're better than most. There's no S.
Oh,
Champville.
Champville.
There you
Okay. And Madame Champville. What is going to be the biggest difference going into this album compared to the first one?
A lot more precise, a lot less improvisation, because it's actually, like I said, an arrangement of a great classical piece. It's actually considered one of the greatest classical orchestral works of the 20th century. And it's super heavy, it's super progressive, really freaking difficult to play. So it's been a little bit of a ridiculous learning curve, and that's why we're only doing, it's only going to be like a demo, like 3 songs, because it's so hard. And eventually I plan on doing the entire thing, which is like a 35-minute piece.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that's 35 minutes of nothing ever repeating, because it's classical music. So it's like the memorization's ridiculous. Most people read sheet music, but we won't, like in the classical world, you put music in front of you and you play to the music because it's too hard to memorize. Basically, that's what 30 Immolated is, and this Stravinsky piece is as well. But we just have to work really hard on memorizing it because we won't play it live with music in front of us.
Fair enough.
So it's really hard, but it's good. The difference is it'll be a lot more precise and a little more progressive, but still really raw, still us screaming our lungs out and stuff like that. And this is also kind of like a demo to kind of tide people over, because the next piece that we're working on is a bigger album concept called The Eternal Hate Machine.
Okay.
And I have a demo of it actually out on Bandcamp, I think. And it's under my other name, my slave name, Daniel J. Brophy, I think. And but it's called The Eternal Hate Machine. If anyone wants to hear it, just message me and I'll send you a free copy. And it's a demo of what I'm going to do. It's going to be like an hour long, and
Mm-hmm.
we're 30 Immolated was based on the Marquis de Sade's 120 Days of Sodom. This one will be based on the Marquis de Sade's Juliet, and it's a story of a woman. These 2 sisters, they're born into poverty, and so back in like the 17th, 18th century France, if you were born into poverty and you had kids, a lot of the times parents would just give up their kids to the monasteries and stuff like that to just work and become nuns, because it was a good life and they would take anyone in, and it's better than your kids dying of poverty. So they sent these 2 girls there, and then, but unfortunately the convent got shut down, and so they got dispersed. One, they both get offered a life in prostitution. One says no, says absolutely not. That's what's her name? Justine, and she has a whole other story to her. But this one's Juliet, and she says yes to it. So it's kind of a story of how vice is better than virtue at saying yes to your perversions. You have a grander life, and like she goes through this whole thing. The whole story is extremely perverted. Lots of death, lots of perversion, weird sexual depravity, and things like that. So that's what it's about. It's another one of the Marquis de Sade's philosophies on life and death.
Damn. That just sounds awesome. Well, not. You know what I mean.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty epic. Everything the Marquis de Sade did. Like I also pick his largest novels because I like epic stuff. I think that way I'm kind of like a prog guy where I like epicness. I like it with my stories. My music isn't necessarily proggy. I think it's more like avant-garde than proggy. But when it comes in terms of like big epic things, I think I'm proggy.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that'll be a fun project. So that's, like the next recording that comes out for live shows, like I said, that's kind of like a placeholder. And then after that'll be like a whole other like huge album concept. So that'll be a lot of fun. It'll take us a while to put it together though.
I don't doubt it, but that just sounds awesome as a fan and as a friend. That just sounds amazing, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing both of those whenever they grace our ears in the musical realm.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't wait.
Now, once we get the green light to be, as people say, normal again, which I don't know what that means, and performances are allowed to happen once again, who would you like to be or where would you like to perform for your first show back, and who would you want to be performing with?
Oh man, I love to play anywhere. I love to play the Absinthe because I haven't played there yet. Love to play with Death Perception. I think we played them once, maybe twice. I think only once. Love to play with those guys again. Cryophilic, they're awesome guys, and I love watching them play. They're so technically proficient. It's ridiculous. Oh geez, there's so many bands. Six of Swords. It's been a long time since I've played with those guys. It's a lot of bands, but yeah, those bands I'd really like to get together with and play with.
Awesome. And now you get to be asked a fun little question we've been asking a lot of our guests recently. So, in the metal world, there seems to be a lot of bands teaming up with either breweries or distilleries to come out with a signature line of alcohol. The infamous Iron Maiden Trooper comes to mind, or even Slayer teaming up with Jägermeister, Metallica with their Blackened, I think it's whiskey, I want to say.
Really?
And just so many others doing the same. If I can speak properly, if 30 Immolated was ever given that chance to team up with a brewery or distillery to create something like that, what kind of alcohol would you want it to be, and what might the name of it be?
That's a great question. I love that. I'm definitely a big fan of beer. I'm drinking some Bone Shaker tonight.
Ooh.
So kind of like the Bone Shaker, and IPA, very hoppy, extremely bitter. I like my coffee and my beer very bitter. And then it would have to have a different line with different flavorings. Maybe some could have like semen flavoring. Some could be like virgin's blood versus rotten old lady blood. Things like that. What brewery? What's the name of that brewery? What they call it? They're from Burlington. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Headstock.
Nickelbrook?
Yes, Nickelbrook. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love Nickelbrook. They're one of my favorite breweries. We've gone on a couple of tours with it, and at the end you get like little samples. Wife and I got a little drunk. It's great. They're a great brewery, and I love their beer. So yeah, I love to team up with those guys. And the name of it, oh, damn. Oh, I think, like I said, there'd have to be like a line of beers with different like disgusting flavorings to go along with the hoppy bitterness of it. And so, one could be like, I don't know. Let's see. IPA, like a bone crushing IPA, or like piss flavored like malts. I'm terrible at naming things. It takes me forever. That's why I take all my material from authors.
See, with your band and your concert, I was just thinking Blood and Mary.
Yeah, Blood and Mary. See, that would be good. Want to write titles for my band?
Sure.
Blood and Mary, yeah. Justine's Monthly Flow.
Yes!
There we go. There we go. So yeah, some hoppy ones, but yeah, definitely that's good. That's good because I love good beer.
Yes, it's hard to find good beer nowadays.
It is. Well, yeah, the lineups of the LCBO are not fun, but we pre-order. We're smart.
Smart.
Right?
Smart. I'm just dumb enough to go wait in line at the beer store.
Oh, you're one of those guys at like the far end of the line, standing there looking cold.
No, I'm the smart one. I'll go on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday right when they open up, or an hour before or an hour after, just because the lines aren't too long.
Yeah.
And you're not waiting like half an hour.
Because yeah, I've seen that. I walk in because I got my cords. See all these poor people just lined up. Like, oh man, that sucks. Like, what have we come to? So much effort for booze.
But my issue is, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we've started reviewing beer now.
Oh, actually, yes, I did see that.
Yeah, so because I'm trying to review as many different beers as possible, I have to kind of go to the LCBO to try and kind of find the more unique and odd ones.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone back into that lineup yet, but I know it's coming one day, and I'm going to be very upset and terrified.
gonna happen. Hopefully this will be over before that happens. So yeah.
Yes, I would love that a lot. Well, Dan, thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely high demanding schedule and life to just. Oh, wait, Dan. No, I mean Dr. Death. Oh, shit.
How dare you, impudent fool!
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
I'll be crushed under the heel of Madame Champville and then fed to my dogs.
Shit. Well, Dr. Death, thank you so much for. Well, thankfully this is over Skype, so I don't have to be punished today. So.
Not today, but I keep a list. You're on it. You have a few strikes already.
Damn it! Let's just hope I don't make it twice.
We'll make it so you think it's fun at first.
Oh no. Well, Dr. Death, before we stop recording this fun little conversation, is there anything else you'd like to let the people know on YouTube what you are thinking?
Oh, what I'm thinking? I'm hoping we're all keeping safe so that your bodies are young and nubile for Madame Champville, Mr. Bones Disgusting Smith, and myself to degrade and destroy at the next live immolation. You're ours.
Damn it! Looks like I'll be booking that night off of work.
That's right. You belong to us. But come to a show. Let us know. We'll put you on the guest list so you can get in for free.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I will totally do that. Well, thank you, Dr. Death. And until next time. Pardon?
Connections.
Yes.
For the upper echelon of, professors and such.
Yeah, well, it's weird to see you in the suit. I'm so used to seeing you in the dress.
Right? I know. Well, I think the dress is ceremonial. This is for interviews, other such, Need to
of course. Things. Does the dress still fit, though?
Oh, of course. A little bit of winter weight, but I think I'll be okay.
Okay, great. Again, thank you, Dr. Death. And until next time, keep on thrashing. I'm going to stop recording before he kills me.